Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking over from Press Bro Podcast, your host. Today I'm joined by Christina Kleynhans, which is
Hello.
an amazing guest. Now, just a little bit about Christina. Christina is an author who has published 4 books. So she has 4 books under her belt, and she's a teacher, and more than that, she's an entrepreneur. Someone who's very passionate about telling stories. So I'm very excited to have her tell a story about how she struggled, overcame, and dealt with bipolar. Now, as part of our focus for this particular month, where we deal with mental health and how it impacts your life, she's going to share with us a story. Christina, welcome.
Thank you. Mhlengi, how are you?
I am very, very well, thank you. I mean, it's so nice to have you around. And I mean, we've known each other for quite some time, not too long,
For the
but
weirdest of circumstances
exactly.
as well.
I was sharing with Austin, who's a co-host, about like how we met. You know, it's like
Road rage.
through a road rage, exactly. So at least through a road rage, there's a silver lining. You know,
You see?
exactly. Now, Christina, today the focus is bipolar.
Yes.
Please just introduce yourself and tell people who you are. You maybe your background and what you do.
Right. I am a punisher, a motivator. I mean a teacher. The nice word for a teacher. An author. I started writing when I was 15. I published my first time when I was 32. All my poems, and been overseas, been in the UK, been in China, been in Saudi, and then I just need to cover 7 more provinces than I've seen, than I've taught all over the show.
Wow, wow,
Yes.
wow. Self-publishing,
Yes.
I'm sure it's not something easy.
No.
But how did you make a decision to just say, I'm going to self-publish?
It was a very interesting journey. Sometimes the journey of an author can be a very lonely journey, and you're stuck on an island because sometimes you will feel like you're being excluded, and sometimes you get like gatekeepers that just inform a certain group of opportunities that's there. I was a semi-finalist in the 2009 Lensware Poetry Project, and I met, he said, ek moet hom oom noem, Oom Don Matera, who is like, he was just such a mensch. And I just saw 2 years or 3 years onwards, my poetry forming nice little piles for catching dust. So I found him on a Sunday afternoon, and he made a plan to visit me when I was living and working in Eldorado Park in Joburg, and he went through effort, and I just asked him, Oom Don, what do you think of my work? And he said to me, first thing, why don't you write in your own language? Secondly, you have it, just use it. Because I think as someone who is sensitive, we and perfectionistic in a certain way, we self-doubt. Because we live in a world that's easy to make a meme or something of you very easily. So yeah, self-publishing is not easy, but what shall I say? My bipolar took me places.
So I guess it's also part of the learning experience. You know,
Yes.
it's like, how do I create work and put it out there?
Yes.
And also like, how are they gonna accept my work?
Yes.
And I mean, otherwise everyone would have a book if self-publishing was easy. I think the part of the bigger problem in writing a book is like, how do I publish? How do I choose a publisher? How do I get my book to the shelf? And how do I make sure that it actually sells on the shelf?
Otherwise, it lands in the Amazon graveyard.
Exactly, which is a big graveyard.
Yes.
Christina, so now your journey with bipolar. First of all, what is bipolar? How would you explain it to someone who has no idea what it is?
Bipolar is usually characterized by extreme moods and mood swings. They can be very quiet or very depressed. They can sometimes be depressed, but it manifests as anger or rage. It can manifest in ADHD-like behaviors, up and going and all around, and you can't catch what they're saying. In hypermania, you can't follow what they're saying, because then they hear, they're like the squirrel from over the hedge. And then you get a depressed one. They can't get out of bed. They can't do self-care. They can't, they're just sleeping the whole time and just feeling void of any emotion. Everything is black and white. There's no flavor, no smell, no nothing. It's just like you're a ghost in a world.
Wow. So now your experience with like bipolar.
Yes.
What characteristics or symptoms did you experience? Mm-hmm. Let's say pre-diagnosis. Maybe when were you diagnosed? And also, did you see any issue or symptoms prior, or they started to manifest afterwards? And those symptoms, how were they like?
I was born with bipolar. What's interesting about bipolar is usually you have a marked event in your teenage years. Girls get depressed, they commit suicide, or they have their first attempts. Boys are usually delusional. They're hyper manic or manic states, where they think they're Jesus and they can do amazing things. And yes, and it's only till up to your 30s that they can actually put the marker and label this as bipolar, because it can sometimes take 11 years to formally diagnose bipolar. Because what do you see? What is usually the sign that everybody overlooks? They see the depression, but they don't question the mania. Because, the guy's productive and he's being quirky. Think of Robin Williams. The quirky, full of energy, impulsivity. So it takes 11 years sometimes for a diagnosis. I had a suicide attempt at the age of 16. I drank 100 panados and 24 modules, and then I just decided maybe it's not my time yet. And by the grace of God, someone was there, the school principal, I'll never forget him. He rushed me to hospital. His wife was a nurse there, so they received me, and I had the charcoal, the activated charcoal and everything funneled through my throat to prevent damage, organ damage.
Oh.
I went through it, and the thing is how they approached me. They wanted to send me to the kinderleiding clinic. It's like a child clinic. And I'll never forget it. The woman just asked, "How do you feel about your mother?" And that stage, everybody was alienated from me. And basically, if you're dealing with the tiger, how do you calm it down? If you know what I mean. I self-medicated. In my 20s, I drank a lot. I partied a lot. I was basically living on the edge. And what tipped it for me is a diagnosis of PCOS, where nobody explained to me what PCOS was, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I lost 3 friends within a span of 6 weeks in 2000. One who was like a brother to me. And I just went completely off the rails. I was living in such a way that I wish I could be killed. not physically by my own hands, but by a twist of fate.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So now, the time you were a teenager,
Yes.
now is that like, so you were not diagnosed at that particular time? You didn't know what's going on, I
No,
suppose.
not at all. I just felt very alone because I was bullied at school. My mom had to tend more to my brother because he had learning difficulties, and caught up in the cycle of poverty. My dad had to work away from home. My grandmother, who was actually like my mother, passed away when I was 13. And strange enough, whenever I came back from church, I would leave my mom notes and, sorry, I can't do this to you anymore. Put it, and then after a while decide, okay, no, hang on. Go fetch it, tear it up, put it in the bin. With a rage, my mom said that maybe I should get, help. But being in a manic state with anger, you're dealing with a tiger. How do you tell him to go easy, tiger? Doesn't work that way. And it took me years, and I antagonized my parents extremely, and I went through bouts of very foul moods and depressed moods, from depressed spinning like a cat who you catch by the tail because no matter how hard you pull them back, they will bear forward, even if it causes them to lose their tail. That's how I was with depression in the first few years, and only when I started teaching, when I was 31, 32, I dated a decent guy, and his mom worked for Dr. Colin in Pretoria, who is the TV doctor, psychiatrist, and she just said, Crystal, why don't you just talk to somebody? And age 32, I was diagnosed with bipolar from 16 to 32.
So now you are at 32. Now you
Yes.
know what the problem is.
Yes.
At that particular point, how did you deal with that situation? Now it's like, okay, now there's a diagnosis here, and I've lived my life through these events. How did it take you to accept the diagnosis, and how did you deal with it?
Yo. First of all, I don't know if you watch Girl Interrupted. It's about a bunch of teenagers, also a writer that tried to commit suicide, and her journey through the asylum in the 1960s in America. And they have this dreary music they're playing, and I'll never forget it. The psychiatrist asked me, "How are you feeling?" I said, I'm okay. I just want to hang myself, but not in a house, because I'm just looking for the right tree, because I don't want to haunt the people. He looked up at me, quiet, and he just wrote and he said, "I'm having you admitted." And sitting there, the neon lights seem brighter. You feel pathetic. You think, wow, now I've really done it because I'm in the loony bin. You imagine people in gowns with slippers, dragging their feet and being catatonic and all that. But when I went in, I saw it's normal people. Not all of them, but yes. It's just someone who was dealt a really bad hand and they needed assistance to get through the time. Just to adjust their compasses again. Just to get a direction in life. Because the worst thing is you feel directionless. You feel like formless dough in a bleach white world. Just feel void of everything. Yes.
But now, such such an environment now, did it make you feel better or it made things worse? Because now that's your reality. It's like, this is my new reality.
It made things worse. Because if you discuss something with people, the last thing they want to know is you have bipolar, because they think, oh my gosh, there goes a bunny boiler. Oh my gosh, there comes Friday the 13th. They think of all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre happening, all those things. And yeah, so you tend to keep it quiet up to the point where you get an episode. And then it becomes tricky, because how do you explain to your principal that you're not going to be at work for three weeks because you're having a nervous breakdown? You're lapsing into a depressive cycle episode. So it takes a long time to adjust. You never get over it because it's a cycle. Then you're up, then you're down. Sometimes you're down for 6 months at a time. But the worst is the highs, because it can ruin you financially. It's actually so dangerous.
So usually, is it because people, it's like a coping mechanism that they adopt, like the highs, to say, you know what, maybe I'm gonna. I think it differs also what their highs
Yes.
are.
No, it's not something you choose. Unless you use stimulants like cocaine and coffee. Sorry. Score. Alcohol. You have to keep an even keel, because this disease, if you can express it in a visual medium, it would be a semicolon. It means pause. The rest is yet to come. Pause, but not stop. Just pause.
What do you mean?
Like sometimes you'll be rushing through life in such a way that you forget to look after yourself. You know, things happen. If you're a giver, you're more likely to be taken advantage of, because someone with a mental issue usually has a self-image problem, because bipolar is also amplified by your direct environment. So we try and overcompensate, or I try to overcompensate with things I don't have for people that just took advantage. Because I think in a way I had guilt, because in my 20s I was not a pleasant person to be around.
So it's like you felt like you owe it to people to be
Yes.
nicer.
Yes, because had I been nicer, wouldn't I have changed the perception of my friend before he passed away? Did I do everything that's pleasant? You know, it's all those little afterthoughts that make you overcompensate, yes.
Now, Christina, you diagnosed
Yes.
and you are dealing with this. It's like you know exactly what you're dealing with. What was your lowest point in your life? Now, let's say after the diagnosis, now you know exactly what is going on. Or even prior, what was just your lowest point in your life where you were like, you know what, I don't think I can go any further than this?
That's the interesting thing of bipolar, it has cycles. Capetonian winters are the worst for such moods. So I was also struck in the poverty cycle for quite a few times, this time as well. But, you know, the lowest point is where you actually wake up and you think, I've nothing to offer anymore. I'm just a ghost in a shell. A ghost in a machine, a voiceless, formless entity that's not visible and doesn't have meaning. And then you think, what's the deal of me waking up today? What's the deal of me even getting out of bed? Or you are just tired. You don't even have to look for a reason, you just physically spent. It feels like you've been working out for a week on end. You just don't have energy.
Then what do you do?
Well, I try to identify the cause, the trigger, and I try and revisit it. I write because I find writing is a very good form of therapy. I speak to my psychologist or my psychiatrist. Guys, don't take it to your friends because friends don't always know. I, especially with my psychiatrist, because sometimes you're going through a stressful period that's actually eating serotonin, your happy hormone. And without it, you're just a shell. Life just passes you by and you don't care. So the lowest time I would say is after a relationship that went sour, me relocating, being unemployed at times, the death of my mother. You know, it's cycles. Sometimes, you know, with grief, the size of grief never becomes smaller. You just learn how to grow around it. And sometimes the pause is just that, okay, 5 things. 5 things I can see. 4 things I can touch. 3 things I can smell. 2 things that I can't remember that one. And 1 or 5 things to be thankful for. 4 things you can touch. 5 things you can see. 3 things you can smell. Just that pause. Just breathing is very important.
Wow. Such an experience. And I think sometimes we as people looking on the outside, people that are on the outside, we don't even know what people are dealing with. We don't even know that like someone is having their low today and they are not finding a reason to wake up. It's like, you know, and I think it's worse when, let's say, you've got colleagues or from an employer's point of view, it's very difficult because now it's like you are dependent on this person for obviously your everyday things.
Oh, yes.
But how do you explain to them that, you know what, I can't do this anymore? Now, overcoming adversity and bouncing back from the lows.
Right.
How have you now in your journey from the lows, what
Right.
are some of the things that you have adopted and implemented that have helped you to bounce back from the lows? So at least pull yourself up and say, you know what, the life is still worth living. I'm still worth it. I'm still enough. Let me continue. Let me keep on going. What are the things that you've implemented or
First
that you
of all, as stupid as it may sound, learning to say no. Because we overextend ourselves to please other people who are actually snakes in suits, psychopaths, or narcissistic bosses that need more from us than we can actually give. Saying no, definitely. Keeping a tight check on routines. Routines is very, very, very important. Having a good spiritual cornerstone to build on, because without spirituality, any form of spirituality, you can do counseling for all you want, but it will be futile. You need to have something to believe in.
An anchor, like you
An
need to be
anchor,
anchored
absolutely,
somewhere.
yes. Without that religion or what have you, what's the point of existing if you have nothing to look forward to?
But why is it important? Why is the religion such an important element?
Because it tells us how to pray. Prayer is meditation. If you do not make time for yourself to pray, you don't allow your mind to switch off and you just be. Because we always want to do, but we never want to be. Just reflecting, coming back into your body and just reflecting, because what is prayer other than a reflection? It's that quiet time away from the noise. Noise can be visual noise as well. Upside down room, things that are dirty or visually impairing you. What else? Please do not quit medications even if you're feeling better. If you're feeling better, it means the medication is doing its job. The moment you leave it, you are a monkey swinging from branch to branch and you miss a branch. You will fall. So, other tools, self-mastery. Learn what you are about. Because in my time, I've been hospitalized. I always turned around to my psychiatrist and I said to him, I do not know who I am. I don't know who I am. Yes, maybe a teacher and that, but it's not me. Who am I? What is my constitution? Because the job doesn't define you. You know, taking self-mastery for you have a ship always sinks from a hole on the inside, not from storms on the outside. You have to enforce yourself. Know what makes you tick. Know how to deal with difficult situations.
So on your lows, are you able to tap into that? Are you able to tap into the self-mastery? Or it's very difficult when you are on your low, when you're in the episode?
It can be very, very difficult. That's why a support network is very important.
But now, what should people do to support? Like, what are the things that people need to do? Now, a person from the outside who's in your network, what can they do to help you bounce from the lows?
I found that if I deal with someone that's going through a low, I just tell them, I don't know what's happening, but can I just give you a hug? And that's all right. Bringing someone a thoughtful gift. Take them popping in sometime. Sending them a song. You know, small gestures. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. Or you can just send a message saying, I have this code. Sorry, I'm interrupting myself. I have this code and I actually saw it on Facebook. And, you know, we live past each other in text messages. And the one guy told his friend, or the friend told this guy, but you know what? I really needed you the other day. And he's like, but why don't you tell me? She said, but, you know, I really thought you would pick up. I sent you the text. And he's like, what? And she said, will you swing by me? And he said, but I don't know, you're in a crisis. So they designed the code. You have 8 minutes for me. Because it takes 8 minutes to listen to someone and make them feel better. So the relevance of using the right phrases. And the last thing you want is someone telling you, get off those meds. I gained 50 kilograms due to my medication, but I'd rather be an adorable, a cute, oversized woman than a bitch with a beautiful body. Yes. So, yes.
Now, things like you spoke about routine,
Yes.
habit,
Yes.
and having like a routine. How does that help in terms of picking you up from the lows? And also, are you able to stick to the routines that you adopted when you were at equilibrium? Like, for example, is it easier to wake up and do your bed and do this and do this and do that
Yes.
when you are going through the cycles, or when you're in the lows? Is it easier to keep on doing the routine?
It's a challenge when you're on a low, but the worst thing you can do is see squalor around you when you're in a low mood. So by keeping yourself clean and keeping your environment clean, looking at all those things, really, it makes a difference. Just your mindset, because if you make a bed, 60% of the room looks better.
Yeah, like 80 if the only furniture you have is your bed.
Yes.
Okay, so now perceptions. They say perception is reality, and I think perception does really matter. What are some of the wrong perceptions or stereotypes that people have about bipolar and just mental health in general that like maybe you've experienced or you've had, or yeah?
Like I said, they think if you're bipolar, you're one of those psycho people. They depict you as this knife-wielding person at your door, breaking it down, lusting for blood and bloodshed. It's in a way you feel excluded. So for someone to say no, don't include them, it makes them feel worse, because they already feel ostracized. They already feel horrible as a person, accepting what they have, and now society doesn't accept you. It's just horrible. And tell them it's all in your mind. Yes, it's all in my mind. That is correct.
And I think what I read recently that like mental health issues are more common than we realize.
Yes.
It's like 1 in 8 people struggle on earth. It's like 1
Yes.
billion people have got a mental issue in one way or another. So it's
Yeah.
more common than we may actually realize,
Did you know?
And so I think even like there could be stereotypes and, perceptions that we have.
Right?
But like what we need to know, it's more common than we may realize. Probably someone in the family has an issue, we just may not know, And I think maybe if we understand that, like, there is someone around us who's dealing with it.
Yes.
They may not be able to express it, but, and they are themselves, or at least they are not going around with a knife or whatever, as you say. So it's something that a lot of people are dealing with.
Yes.
But they are still able to, be okay and, be a colleague, be a spouse and what have you, and still
Yes.
behave and like take on life the way it is. And I think one of the most important things that we're trying to do is to break these stereotypes.
Yes.
So that when you see a person having an episode, you don't think it may not happen to you.
Exactly.
You need to know that chances are there's someone around me who has a similar problem, or who's
Yes.
dealing with the same issue or similar issue.
Yes.
Just because their lows are not that low, it doesn't mean they are okay.
True.
So, and I think the important thing is that like we need to check on each other.
Yes.
Just because someone looks okay or they sound okay doesn't mean they're okay.
Yes, because it's easier to fake a smile than to fake depression.
Wow.
So if somebody shows you they're depressed, they're not faking it. For that person, I know of men, And this is a scary part of bipolar highs. If that person is on a high, pay attention. If they start to give away things that are really close to them, just like habit, or they're friendlier than usual, especially after a long feeling miserable for a long time, and they're just up and quirky and doing all these things, pay attention. He's dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's more than likely that they are planning to end everything. Especially in males, they know they made peace with the fact that they won't be happy again. And that's not people, it's a mask they wear.
So they find a way to hide it
Yes.
better.
Yes.
Wow. Now, Christina, are there any institutions or spaces or organizations that you think maybe people can go to, or maybe that have helped you, professionally
Yes.
on the journey?
Right. Best, if you feel low, or you feel that something's got to give somewhere along the line, get yourself in touch with a medical professional. I know Reed Street, Cape Town, is very renowned for the mental health nurse there. She's brilliant. Get yourself evaluated. I know of my one friend that walked into an institution with a handbag, and she said, I can't do it anymore. No clothes, no nothing. So seek that help, because people do not understand. They get agitated because you're telling them something and they can't do anything, so they get, standoffish. Get yourself to a medical professional. Get yourself to a professional counselor. I'm sorry to say I had a very bad run-in with a pastor and a few people that wanted to exorcise demons from me. So I would say be wary of spiritual leaders, because some of them may see it as a demon, which is not the case. Get a routine, go walk. If you have a patch of grass, take off your shoes, walk barefoot, ground yourself. Drink a lot of water, sleep enough. So, but really, don't always talk to your friends, because one of the most toxic environments you can be in is echo room. You know what the echo room is?
Can't remember. I think it sounds a bell, but then I can't remember.
It's a place where everybody shares the same views. Nobody differs from each other. If you're in such an environment, let's say you have fear and everybody is around you, they're fearmongers. It's not good for you. It's a toxic environment. Break away. Do something creative. Creativity is actually something that can pull you out of a lot of things.
Wow.
Sleep when you need to sleep. Cry when you need to cry. Do not hold anything back. If you're angry, shout into a pillow, hit the pillow, bite a door or something, but get it out. If you're angry, cry and get it out.
So it's about expression. You need to express yourself.
Yes.
And maybe I guess even those that are around you, they're going to be able to see how you feel instead of internalizing things.
Yes.
And I guess when they see how you feel, then they can know how to support you.
Yes, but some people are unfortunately narcissistic, and they can cost you your job. So you have to really consider who you tell what to.
Mm.
Because unfortunately, we in a world where toxic people prance around. It's a person that will step onto another person to get on top. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Mm. I think it's just about survival.
Yes. So you pick your designated person, become part of a support group, check in with someone, and be good to yourself, because in our low episodes, we are very critical of ourselves. Oh, I haven't done this. I'm such a failure. Look at me, I'm fat. Oh, Lord. Because unfortunately, with some of the medications, you gain weight.
Mm.
But it's a small sacrifice in comparison to the friends that you lose and relationships you break up. And it can't be mended.
Wow.
Yes.
I think when you talk about awareness, this is exactly what you're talking about, because that all of a sudden, especially people that don't have the first-hand experience, it's like we don't know how it really feels, And I think usually people that are struggling, they don't find an opportunity or a way to express themselves fully. It's like you won't understand. You won't, you don't know how it's supposed to be.
And that's why they self-harm. You get your cutters.
So how important is it to share your story as you walk the journey? So let's say, for example, you've been diagnosed.
Right.
How important is it to tell people about your experience and how you feel, just to share? Do you think it helps? The reason I'm asking is because, like, I'm an entrepreneur.
Right.
And I've seen that, like, when you share your experience and your hardships and what have you, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel that you're not alone, you're not invincible.
Right.
And you are sharing an authentic story. How important is it to share how you feel or your journey with people as you walk the journey?
I think people are not open to mental health issues that much. They will take poverty over a mental disease, because things like anxiety attacks they label as it's play, it's the imitation games, and it's not. They may you have to be careful when you share something, because it can be used against you. It can be seen as a sign of weakness.
But I guess maybe we can break that by sharing more. It's like the more people share,
Yes.
then the more people would be aware,
True.
of like how people really feel. Because I think it's same as like anything where there is a problem or hardship or adversity,
Right.
when you share, it seems like a sign of weakness. If you
Yes.
tell people that, what, I'm broke, it seems like it's a sign of weakness, even from a financial point of view, know.
Right.
But when you share, you don't know, maybe this particular person knows of an opportunity or they can do something about it. So it's like the chances of you getting an opportunity is higher when you share than if you don't share. If you don't share, you'll never get an opportunity. It's just not going to happen unless you pursue an opportunity yourself. But maybe when you share about, you know what, like, I'm broke. Obviously, other people are gonna say, okay, yeah, you deserve it, But other people are gonna say, oh, you know what? I think I can help you. It's like there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Seek, and you shall receive."
Right.
Because those who seek receive. So, but if we don't seek, and I think in this particular perspective, seeking is not just, guys, I need help. It's also like, guys, this is where I am. This is my journey,
Right.
and I'm living my life this way. So, but I guess with maybe mental health, because of the stereotype of
Yes.
like, what people associate with it, it's very
Yes.
different to poverty. If someone is poor, it's like, okay, I don't have bread. Okay, so it means that this person's problem is the bread. So if I give him bread, it's going to be okay.
Yes.
But maybe with mental health, it attaches to you.
Yes.
You know, it's like, so I think that's what makes it a bit like, it's like a chronic disease
Yes.
where it's like, if someone says I've got cancer, guys, like all of a sudden it's like, okay, this person won't be here in like, you know, only to find that maybe they will be here for like
Right.
10 years or 20 years or whatever. But I think because it becomes part of you, then
Yes.
that's why a lot of people don't share.
I think if you share, I would advise filter what you want to share, because sometimes we are very alone and we tend to overshare, and that person might have taken a little bit of poison and dealt with it, but now they if you overshare with them, they might feel in a situation where they're frustrated because they can't help you, and then they avoid you, and that is the problem.
And now you lose maybe people that really matter to you.
And-
And you can see
Yes.
that, okay, you know what, the way people perceive me has changed.
Yes.
And it probably maybe does more damage than
Yes.
good. And I think I had a conversation with someone who was saying that like sometimes sympathy
Yes.
does more damage than no sympathy. So like,
Yes.
oh,
Path to ruin is good. It's paved with a lot of good intentions.
yeah. But then it does more harm sometimes.
Yeah. You know what they call it? When someone just knows them when when they're in a hard time? An emotional drive-by. Because they shoot you in the run. When things are good, they don't share with you. But when things are bad, they always, try and not do that.
Now, Christina, let's come back to you. Your
Right.
highlights. You are an author,
Right?
entrepreneur, you are a teacher,
Yeah.
and you do plays. I think you've conducted some plays, or you are in that particular space where you are in the art and the
Yes.
writing and creative writing, basically.
Yes.
You write poems. What has been your biggest highlight so far in maybe your career or your life?
Oh, my film Eldorado Park.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I watched that one. Oh my word. It made
Yes.
me cry.
Yes.
Oh my word. I remember I watched that one. Are you talking about the one of GPV?
Yes.
Oh my word. Oh my word. It's still on my favorites on my phone because it reflects the reality of, especially from a woman's point of view.
Yes.
Now it's like you were the victim, but now all of a sudden you are arrested. It's like,
Yes.
now it's like I think she went from this gender-based violence household to being arrested, and then now the child is struggling because like
Yes.
it's like, and I think it's made me wonder. I mean, I come from an environment where there was domestic abuse,
Yes.
and I saw how damaging it could be to a household. And sometimes a perpetrator doesn't understand that, like, by inflicting pain to someone else, I may actually break away the whole family, because that particular person, just like on the film, they may kill you.
Right?
Now all of a sudden the kids are gonna suffer.
Oh, yes.
Because now it's like the parents are not there, the mom is in prison, the dad is dead, or
Yes.
vice versa. So but why is that so important, or why has it been a highlight to you?
Because for the first time, that is why creativity is so important. My voice wasn't snuffed out. For the first time, I could use my intensity to convey a message without scaring people away. My books that came out, I'm very proud of it. My short films in collaboration with Dream Design Productions. There are so many good things happening. But it's a small silver lining. But you have to live for those moments. Cherish them, because everything is a fleeting thought, good or bad. Everything shall pass.
Both the good and the bad. And I think that is such a profound statement to make, because sometimes the bad feel like they're just gonna be eternal. It feels like you're just gonna be on the bed. Einstein had a quote that says, when you kiss a girl, an hour seems like a minute. But when we're sitting on a hot stove, a minute seems like an hour. So when you
Eternity
are
never
going, exactly. So But now,
Yes.
when it comes to two words, what are the two words that describes you? Two words
From the kid's point of view or my point of view?
from your point of view. You're talking about like cherishing the moments,
Yes.
like also knowing that nothing is eternal.
Yes.
Now, when you wake up in the morning or when you see yourself, how you see yourself, what are the two words that sums up who you are and your experience in life?
I want to say tongue in cheek, persistent misery.
Persistent in misery.
No, I'm very resilient. I bounce back. Definitely resilient. And I must say my humor takes me places. So if something is going good, make a joke of it. If it's going bad, make a joke of it. At least
And then
someone
write a
else will write a book or make a film.
A very thick book. Quotes. What quotes do you live by?
What codes?
Yeah, your favorite quote.
My quote.
Yeah, quote.
It's the same as the South African Air Force, per ardva per ad astra. It's through the stars through the stars through difficulties. To the stars through difficulties.
To the stars through difficulty.
Yes, in other words, overcoming adversities. And then ad esse what it's on my phone, man. Ad esse. It's from dream to reality.
Okay, so what's your second favorite quote that you live by?
Ad posse et esse. It means from the impossible to the possible. Basically, speaking something into existence.
Speaking something into existence.
Yes.
Wow. I think the Bible also says, what does it say about let the weak say I'm... Oh, no, not that one. But it's about basically whatever you say becomes.
Yes.
And that is why it's so important for us to be aware of what you say about ourselves and also others. Because with our tongue, we make.
Yes.
Whatever that you say with your tongue and your mouth shall come to pass.
You know what abracadabra means?
What does it mean?
In Hebrew, it means as I speak, it comes into existence.
Wow. It manifests.
It manifests.
Now, my last question.
Right.
Where can people find you and where can people find your books and your work?
Right. They can contact me. Kleynhans, spelled otherwise with the EY, not the EI. Kleynhans.1980@gmail.com. They can follow me, Christina Kleynhans, with the EY, not the EI, on Facebook and on TikTok, Christina, with a X for the CHR and 4 for the A.
Okay.
Christina, yes. And Instagram, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're also going to share your socials on this particular video so that
Thank you.
people know exactly who you are and where to find you.
Wonderful.
Christina, it was such an informative and intriguing conversation. I mean, I've learned a lot of things, and I'm sure our viewers and our audience, they learned a lot of things also. Thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
And we hope to hear from you in the future, just to learn more about your journey and your experience and what you're doing.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, taking over from Press Pro Podcast. This was our guest, Christina Kleynhans. I hope you guys learned a lot about mental health, bipolar, and the experiences that she has had and how she overcame those. So, see you guys soon. Thank you. Press Pro Podcast.